So my daughter-in-law was very clear. When the baby was born, there were no visitors, no dropping by, no dropping off gifts. So 3 months later, guess who suddenly needs a little break?
Do you know when some mothers put to bed, they always have this restriction? I do not want any friends, I don't want any family members to come to my house after a certain period of time because I want to be or spend the time alone with me and my man, right? I don't want gifts, I don't want visitors, even grandmas, grandpas, aunties, sisters, no family members, no friends. Some mothers actually do that once they put to bed. So this particular thing happened, and you know what? The grandma was asked to come later on, 3 months later, when she got tired of staying alone with the child. So now the grandma is saying that I am not coming because you did not allow me to have access to my grandchild where you just put to bed. You were given restriction. Now that you're tired or now that you need a break 3 months later, you're telling me to come. I'm not going to do that.
So my daughter-in-law was very clear. When the baby was born, there were no visitors, no dropping by, no dropping off gifts, no Easter baskets, no birthday presents, no Christmas presents, no nothing. Because they wanted their privacy. They wanted their home to be their safe space and be the only ones purchasing things for the baby. And because her husband is so much more involved, they don't really need a traditional grandma role. So 3 months later, guess who suddenly needs a little break? And guess who suddenly needs a few hours away from the house? And guess who is now being invited over to babysit this baby that I've never even been allowed to meet? So my answer to her was absolutely not. I don't know that baby. I wasn't needed then, and I am not going to be your on-call nanny just because you're tired. You cannot put grandma in a timeout for 3 months and then expect her to show up the second it's convenient for you. Boundaries go.
Do you think the grandma is doing too much or she was the one that messed up, right? The fact that she pushed her family members away, a grandma or a husband's mom, maybe a husband's mom or even a mom, away just because she want to spend that 3 months alone with her, the husband and the child. Do you think she's wrong to do that? And now that she needs help, she can just call the grandma to come. The grandma that you don't want the grandma to come when you just put to bed. Now that you need a break, now you're calling the grandma to come and help you. What you guys think about this whole thing? I have your reaction on this video. Let's watch this video together. Then I'll come back and share my thoughts.
Both ways, sweetheart.
If your smart mouth, low down daughter in law thinks she can have a new baby, totally exclude you because her husband is going to take a greater role and they don't want you to drop by, they don't want you to visit, spend no time with the baby, don't bring no gifts, absolutely cut you off, baby, let her have them. Because there are very few new mothers that I know of who don't need grandma, whether she your mama or the mother-in-law. Because, baby, they know some things about babies that you ain't even thought of. I was afraid to give my baby a bath. My mama said, give me that baby. She put a face towel over her arm, flipped my baby on top of her arm, washed the baby, flipped her, and gave her back. You don't know what you doing. And then after 2-3 months of you excluding grandma, you got the audacity to say you want her to come and give you a break, to now have some time with the grandchild that she has no connection with, so you can have a freaking break in your dreams. I don't give a darn if you don't get no sleep for the next 100 years. I wouldn't show up. Grandma, show her who is the real power. Because whether you know it or not, darling, the first time that baby and grandma make a connection, yeah, you going to become a thing of the past. Wait till they toddlers. Grandmas and babies have a common enemy. You. And right now, you your own worst enemy. Because you cutting out the most important resource that you have. unless your husband is really pulling his weight, which I doubt he is. So you need to go and get your mind right, put an apology in your mouth, give it to your mother-in-law, and get some help, heifer. Comment.
For you. Boundaries go both ways, sweetheart.
Granted, I'm not a mom, so this is just my opinion. You can listen to me or you're not. But I don't understand this wave of mothers wanting to exclude grandparents out, especially grandmothers, whether it's his mother or your mother. I've never understood that. To replace the attention from the father. The reason why I don't understand it is because he can only do so much. You need women who have already been there. They've done that. They can help get you through the process. You don't have to figure it out all on your own, because a man can only do so much. Yeah. He doesn't understand what you need to jump in and give it to you, because truthfully, you don't even know what you need, regardless of how many books that you've read. Also, to go into this video, I've never understood why do you want to do that, because you're literally throwing away your village. You are breaking a bond with the grandparents and the child. So if you have a child and you're not allowing the grandparents to bond with them, they're not going to have grandparents to bond with them. Like, that's one of the blessings, to have an elder around to help you. Now, I understand if the elder is abusive. I understand that. But sometimes you take an elder's advice of being abusive or overbearing, when the truth is they know what they're doing and you don't. You don't know, especially if it's your first child. You know what you want, but you don't know what you actually need until you have a child. And this grandmother said, you didn't want me to be involved in the child's life? I'm not involved. Don't call me now that you need a break. And I guarantee you, she got a TikTok. Well, where's the village? Where's the village? You told the village, I don't want you. You said me and my husband got it. Okay. I've never understood that. Never understood.
When the baby was born, there were no visitors, no dropping by, no dropping.
So this is why people say the nuclear family is toxic, because they really do lack the village mindset. Okay, your extended family care about you and they're there to support you. And it will really behoove you to be more mindful, respectful, and considerate of the people that are in your corner. You cannot keep your child away for months and not allow your child to have a relationship with their grandparent, and then all of a sudden when you need a break, now you're calling on them to come through and rescue you. That's not how things work. That's not how things work, okay? So if you want your grandparents to be a part of your child's life, you need to be open and receptive to them being involved when they want to be involved, not just when you want them to be involved. Okay? That's how respect works. That's how consideration works. Okay? And that's how a functional and healthy family dynamic works. You don't just shut people off. Don't allow them to come and see the baby. But then when you need a break, that's when you're calling for help. That's user mentality. And that's not right.
So my daughter-in-law was very clear. When the baby was born...
Hey friend, first of all, I'm so glad that you stood your ground. And to all my friends, please go back and listen to that video, because that's a real thing. I don't know so much in, our land, but women really be out here beasting their mother-in-laws. For whatever reason, I don't know. It ain't out there yet. But this is the difference between your son making a child and your daughter bringing a child into the world. If you have a daughter in that universe that she's housing, cultivate good relationships with your daughter, because when y'all kids start having kids and women start denying access. Anyway, get a DNA test, girl, because I don't trust her.
So 3 months later, guess who suddenly needs a little break?
Who?
And guess who suddenly needs a few hours away from the house?
3 months later.
And guess who is now being invited over to babysit this baby that I've never even been allowed to meet?
Can't be you.
So my answer to her was absolutely not.
Period. I'm all for setting healthy, realistic boundaries. Like, for example, when we had our first, it was prime COVID. It was 2021. Prime COVID. There was nobody seeing her without a mask on. Germex immediately at the door. If you're wearing a jacket, take it off. And obviously, we didn't open our doors to the public. It was immediate family and friends.
Yeah.
If you were somebody that I didn't even talk to anyway or seen, you had no reason to go see my baby to begin with. Even to this day, nobody can kiss my baby at all. No kisses. My baby can't drink after you. You can't drink after my baby. But besides that, everything else is free game. Hugs and all that stuff is good. But the crazy part about it is, even during prime COVID, I never once said, hey, even though you're her grandparent, you can't come see her. And then one day your kid just hey, you can come see her now. I'm tired. I need a break. No, I'm not no on-call nanny. I don't even know your baby. That break is gonna be your baby crying their head off because they don't know me. I'm a stranger. With that being said, it's different if, the grandparents decided to be a stranger. That's on them. But if you have that support and you trust your family and you still push them away and decide to call them when it's convenient for you, that's not how it works. Boundaries are cool, but not allowing your mom to see your child for 3 whole months is crazy.
My daughter-in-law was very clear. When the baby was born, there were no visitors, no dropping by, no dropping off gifts, no Easter baskets, no birthday presents, no Christmas presents, no nothing. Because they wanted their privacy. They wanted their home to be their safe space and be the only ones purchasing things for the baby. And because her husband is so much more involved, they don't really need a traditional grandma role. So 3 months later, guess who suddenly needs a little break? And guess who suddenly needs a few hours away from the house? And guess who is now being invited over to babysit this baby that I've never even been allowed to meet? So my answer to her was absolutely not. I don't know that baby. I wasn't needed then. And I am not going to be your on-call nanny just because you're tired. You cannot put grandma in a timeout for 3 months and then expect her to show up the second it's convenient.
I really hate when people make me side with the typical side, who is usually the toxic one. Now, I will say that I do believe that this particular account is more of a rage bait account. Either that or she's reading things from Reddit, and could still be true. And the reality is, this is something that happens. Now, majority of the time, I would be inclined to say that daughter-in-laws put in boundaries for mother-in-laws who need the boundaries. Bottom line, that's usually what it comes down to. Nobody should willingly want to not have help, right? But do I think that there's the occasional daughter-in-law who just wants to have that role and wants to take control and wants to not have her husband's parents, mother, sister, whatever involved? Yes, I do. And that's where I'm kind of at on this video. So as stated, she said that, this daughter-in-law said that I'm putting in boundaries. I don't want help. I don't want this. I don't want that. And when she finally reached out to this mother-in-law, she was like, I really need help because I need a break. And now it's convenient for me, basically. And the grandma was like, no, I'm not doing that because I don't know your child. Also, that's where the story kind of got weird for me because I was like, that's a little bit of a red flag. You wouldn't put in a boundary with someone who you didn't trust or didn't really want to be active in a part of your life and then be like, you know what, I'm really tired now and I think I'll just take the help from whoever I can get it from. I just don't think that that would be the type of thing that someone who put in that type of boundary would want or would trust in that person. But with that said, I do believe that the grandma would be correct in this. You can't just ask somebody after 3 months, hey, can you just come and watch my kid now for me? The baby doesn't know the grandma doesn't know the baby. And what an unusual way to have the grandma be meeting this child under the circumstances that you're just tired now and you just need the help. So I want to hear what you guys think. Do you feel like the grandma is right or wrong in this situation? If a daughter-in-law says, I'm putting in all these boundaries, I don't want your help, I don't need you, and then all of a sudden reaches out and says, actually, can you help now that it's been 3 months and I need your help, do you think that the grandma has every right to say no? Let me know what you think down in the comments.
I feel like I understand when you put to bed and you kind of have restriction on the people that come to greet you, right? Because most of the people that come to greet you, most of the time, just wants to say hello to the baby, stresses you sometimes, especially if you're the mom that went through a lot of labor pain, a lot of like you just need your rest, right? So there's some people that just come to say hello to you. Most of the time they just want to look at you and see if you made it or how fat and commend you or comment on your body weight, your body, or the baby to see how the baby looks, if the baby is dark skin or some people come to greet you after you put to bed to stress you. So I understand the fact that you have to be picky on the people that come to greet you, but then not your family members, not your grandma that is going to help you. Because how did she even go through all those times, all those early nights without a grandma help, right? And you have grandma that is alive that is willing to come and help you. How did she survive those nights without a grandma help? Because I don't know how she did that, right? So if you had survived those early 3 months, if I early 1 month when the baby is still very fragile and you yourself, you are still very fragile, you need rest. If you can survive those early months, I feel you don't need anybody's help after 3 months. You can do it by yourself. So the fact that you actually hurt people, pushing them away, especially people that are supposed to be close to you at that point, you hurt their feelings already. And now you're like, come whenever I need you. This is time I need you, so come. It's more or less like you're tossing them around and it's like, okay, this is when I need your help, so this is when I need you. So what about when they need you? This is just like you being a user. This just being you being a user. For people that always use people, they use people only when they feel like it's convenient for them. This is the time I feel like I need this person, so this is the time I'm going to use them. When I don't need them, they should get out. So when they need you, what do you do? Right? You actually deprive the grandma from that joy, that early baby connection and all of that. Grandma like all those kind of things. They want to help you. They want to stay with the baby. Grandma comes to meet you to take care of the baby, also to help you. Most grandma, especially when your mom come around, they come to help you. They ease your pain, they ease your stress once they are around, right? Unless the grandma are coming to stress you, then they should not come. Okay, if the grandma is coming to help you, to play with the baby, to stay with the baby, just for you to have that time alone and all of that, to heal, she's coming to help you, but you deprive the grandma for that joy that she gets from carrying the newborn and all of that. Grandmas like children and all of that. They like babies. So you cannot deprive the grandma from all of that. And now, after 3 months, you feel like this is the time you need to go out and, focus on yourself now. Now you need the grandma to come. I don't think the grandma is wrong for not going. It's more or less like you can't push me around, right? If you say you don't need help, then do not need help. Now it is not time for you to not tell me that this is the time that I need you. I feel like if the grandma should jump on the opportunity immediately, it's going to be like so I like the fact that she's not going. Probably later on she can eventually go and stay with the child or even visit once in a while. That's not going to be a problem, but at that initial request she should just decline it, because you already hurt her feelings for not allowing her to come and say hello to her grandma. I understand the fact that you have to pick people that come to visit you after you put to bed. I understand that fact. But then there's some people that they have to be there. They have to be there. These are grandmas, these are your mom, or probably your husband's mom that is coming to help, because there are some husband mom that are not coming to help, they're coming there to stress you. So if you know that your husband mom is coming to stress you, she has no business coming to your house during that period, or unless she just want to come and say hello and leave, right? You can allow her to come and say hello to greet her grandchild and leave, but she coming to stay those period, she can't stay, because you don't need someone that is coming to stress you. You need someone that is coming to help you so that you can easily heal, regain your strength back. After putting to bed, you need time to, because I don't even know how she did all of that by herself, she and her husband, for 3 months. So definitely you guys don't need anybody. You just need to get a nanny. You just need to get a nanny or somebody to stay in the house if you want to step out or if you need a break from the child. You guys, what's your take on this video? Kindly share your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, your girl Maria Davis, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.